So the company is called Luxon, and here's some of the things that it has. So we have the hammer, obviously, the seatbelt cutter, emergency warning light, LED lighting, hand powered generator. That was the surprising part to me. And not only that, you have a power supply in a form of USB. And here's the other side where we can see that there's pictures of the flashlight and the emergency light. Awesome. Let's open this thing up and check it out. Let's see what else is in here. All right, so we got a little USB and a little manual. Actually, a very nice manual. So it gives us some specs here, the size of it, all the functions, how to use the crank generator, the window breaker, and the seatbelt cutter. This is one of the better manuals I've seen. So here's something awesome. This safety tool here actually has a battery inside, and it's a 1800 milliamp hour battery. So it's not like you have to crank this thing to make it work. It actually charges it, you know, for later use. So that's super cool. So the maximum output wattage is 2.5 watts, which is pretty good for charging your phone in an emergency situation. All right, so let's get to the tool. So they got it plastic wrapped. Wow, look at that. That is nice looking. I like the color. It's something that you will not lose. When you do need tools like this, it's nice that they are this easily visible like this is, so you don't accidentally miss it. You can see it really easily. So let's start with the top here. So it looks like we have a crank that you turn here, and it nicely folds back into its spot. Very clean and nice design. So here we have a power button, some kind of light here. Very nice looking. So the bottom has some grip here. Very good attention to detail on this product. So here on the side we do have some more red, looks like a lighting here. And then over here we have the USB port, which should just come out. And here you can see the output and the input. So apparently you can also charge this thing, the battery inside of it, so later you can have, you know, already a charger. You don't have to crank this thing whenever you do need it. So this thing's got you covered on all aspects. The way they got this USB cover here, it looks like it might be waterproof also, so, or at least rainproof. All right, so we move to the bottom here. We have the window breaker here. And so obviously the way to use this is, you know, hit a window like this as hard as you can, and it should shatter. Most glass on cars is tempered. When you hit it, it breaks into little pieces. And the reason for that is for safety. If you know, had to pull somebody out of the car and the windows wouldn't roll down, whatever, or in an accident. But this is a great tool to have for that reason. And it does have a little protective cap here. And down here, guys, we have the seatbelt cutter, which is nicely tucked away underneath this lip here. So you're not gonna hurt yourself with it ever. But if you ever did need to cut something, you can definitely, you know, put it in there and cut it like a seatbelt. All right, so let's go to the other side. So it looks like we have a button that's called flash alarm. So this is supposed to flash, I guess. I'm thinking that's why this is glowing red, is maybe because the battery on the inside is not charged fully. We'll investigate that in a little bit, but it looks like that is the emergency flash button there. All right, so moving to the front, we have a pretty nice looking LED bulb in there, and it's one of those high quality, high powered ones. Very cool. And also we can see here, looks like we have magnets, and I'm guessing that's to set it on the car like this so you can strobe. If this was your trunk or whatever and you put it on like this, it would stick to it, you know, and then you'd have a strober here. So if you were like changing a tire or whatever and you needed people to see you, you can use this as a little strobe. Pretty cool. So as you can see, guys, this is a very nice and useful little tool. All right, so let's go ahead and try to use the crank here. So I'm guessing I just open it and I start cranking. And when I crank it, you can see that little light in the back is flickering, I guess indicating that it's charging. All right, let's see how much that gave us. So I'm gonna click this flash button here. There it goes. So yeah, we do have power now. But that's pretty bright, guys. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but you know, it's pretty reasonable for sure. At night, you'd definitely be able to see this. And it does blink to the side kind of too. Super cool. So to turn it on, you just hold the flash button, and that's what turns it on. If you hold it again, it turns it off. All right, let's hit this power button here. Okay, once I did that, our flashlight turned on, and it's actually very bright. Hopefully you can see that, but you can tell there on the wall how bright that is. Let's see if I click the power button again, what happens. Okay, so it dims down a bit and then flashes. Okay, so it looks like you have three settings. You have very bright, then you have about half brightness there to conserve battery, I guess, which is nice because sometimes you don't need it that bright. And if you click it again, you get a crazy looking strobe. And this thing is, you know, people will see this from miles away for sure. So yeah, guys, a super nice flashlight. I got it on the low setting right now, Maybe you can see it a little better. And the light output is white. It's not the blue that you see in like cheap flashlights. This is a nice light that's usable. All right guys, so for the next part, let's see if we can charge my phone here with this emergency tool. So we're just gonna open this sleeve up here, and there we can see the USB plug, and we're gonna take the provided cable here, and it comes with a micro USB is actually what my phone has. Now if yours doesn't have that, you can, you know, throw in a cable that you do have, or most of the time in your car you do have cable anyway. So I'm gonna plug it in, and it starts charging. And here on the tool we can see that the red light came on, I guess indicating that it's draining power to the phone. So let's see if other functions also work while it's charging. Yes, so the flashlight does come on the normal same way as it would when you're not charging. So this thing can do multiple things at once. That's pretty awesome. Let's see if we hit our emergency flashers here. And yes, we have emergency flashing light as we are charging at the same time. So yeah guys, as you can see, we have a tool here that can do everything at once. So let's see what happens if we crank this as it's charging there. Okay, so when I crank it, it does disconnect the phone from charging. So I guess it's concentrating on charging the battery instead of outputting. Let's try that with the light, what happens. So with the light, it stays on. And now with the emergency flasher, it also stays on. So yeah, there you go. You can have the light and the emergency flasher on while twisting that thing. So overall, this thing is very, very versatile, guys. You can charge your phone, it can cut the seatbelt, you can break a window, it has a great flashlight, and it also has an emergency flasher. So one more thing I figured out about this flashlight, if you hold this button here, like just hold it, it goes through like a cycle of flashing. It's not just random flashing, but it kind of does that. And so to activate it, you just hold it. And that's when it goes to that mode.